My aunt took us to Bobby's. My aunt took us to Bobby's. If you don't know about Bobby's, you're not Guyanese when you just move over here.
Well, I didn't know about Bobby's
Well, listen,
until just
I should have taken you to Bobby's. That's what I should have done. Because listen, my aunt took us to Bobby's, and to be honest with you,
y'all shop true.
we shop true. Oh my God. Listen. Welcome, aviation enthusiasts and health fanatics, to the AviDoct podcast. I'm Lasaul Jacobs, your aviation professional navigating the skies.
And I'm Kadija Jacobs, your friendly neighborhood doctor, here to keep you grounded, entertained, and healthy.
Listen, whether you're soaring through the clouds
Or even seeking tips for a healthier lifestyle,
you're in the right place.
Jinx. Together, we'll explore the intersection of aviation and healthcare, bringing you fascinating insights, expert interviews, and a touch of our own life adventures.
So fasten your seatbelts
And grab your stethoscopes
because it's time for the AviDoct podcast to take flight. Stat.
Coming to America is a very funny movie. And I'm not talking Eddie Murphy funny. I am talking moving from Georgetown, Guyana, or the Caribbean at large to North America or even Canada.
Well, thank you for joining us. This is going to be a hell of a flight. Kadija and I are going to take you on a journey from our migration process from the busy and buzzing streets of Georgetown, Guyana, to the mighty United States of America. This is your captain speaking, and I want you guys to buckle up, enjoy the flight as we take you on this amazing trip with us.
All right, Lasaul. So get ready for a thrilling ride as we share our personal migration story. We're talking about the highs, the lows, the weather adjustments, and even cultural shifts that cause a major roller coaster, turbulences
Most definitely.
in life altogether. So let's hit it out the park.
Yeah. Well, it all started for me in 2012 when we moved over here with my dad. My grandmother filed for us. This was on we left, if I remember correctly, on the 2nd of November. We left Georgetown, and at that time, Delta was flying. We actually came on Delta. We didn't use Caribbean Airline or BWE or any one of those airlines. We came on Delta Airline, and that was quite an experience for me because it was one of the longest flight that I've ever been on.
Was it your first flight?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't my first flight because we went to Trinidad before. My mom was in Trinidad for a couple of years, and at that time when we flew on BWIA. Is that what it was? Yeah,
BWE.
we flew on BWIA. Yeah, they were operating at that time, so we traveled to Trinidad and Tobago, and that was quite an experience too. My first flight out of Georgetown, being on an airplane, it was an interesting trip, I should say. But nonetheless, when we traveled to the U.S., like I mentioned, we came on Delta, and we left Georgetown, which was warm. So you can only imagine how we were dressed. We dressed like a regular short, long pants, sneakers. Well, I had on a Timberland at that time. So when we got there, we had no jackets. We had nothing. So we came, and mind you, remember, we came in November. So you know how
It's freezing.
bitter cold that can be.
Yes.
We got there, we touched down. And of course, we did the whole shenanigans with U.S. Customs. They gave you at the embassy. They gave my dad the envelope, that package, that golden package. That's what everyone refers to as the golden ticket to the mighty America. But we got that package, and we could not have opened it until you get to the United States.
Yes.
We got there. We did the whole process of opening the package, customs checking us in, and they had my name as La. Oh my God. They renamed me from Lasaul Veer Jacobs to
La.
La SV Jacobs. It was an interesting story, and it was a hell of a process to have that changed, I must say.
Yeah, I know how it is.
Exactly. You have to go through USCIS, submit an application, indicate where they went wrong, how they did this wrong, and it's like a whole petition. It's like when I got my green card, we had to like redo all the whole process and submit proof of name and birth certificate, the whole.
That's what you get for using fancy names.
Man, listen, it's not
Lasaul.
me. It's my mother. She traded.
I know, right? Actually, I've never heard that name before.
Yeah, it's a
met
very
you.
unique name.
Yeah, it's very unique because even when we try Googling it,
you can't come up with a meaning.
No, there is no meaning.
There's
I
no
mean,
meaning.
of course, knowing a little French or whatever, then I could put a meaning to it. Lasaul.
So what meaning do you put to my name?
It means, well, French means the room. But then again, it's not spelled the way that the French would spell Sal. So I don't know, maybe you're a roomy person.
I think you should put a meaning to that name. It should be my sexy husband.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, but when we got there, my grandmother was, being the traditional old person you would expect them to be.
Yeah.
Don't go outside. It's cold. Y'all don't hear. Y'all this. Y'all done.
She and us never see conversation.
Exactly. So curiosity, and I personally, I was so curious that when we finished with custom, we got outside. We were waiting on my aunt to come, and my aunt pulled up like 30 minutes later. It was not like Guyana. Guyana, you step out to the airport, it's mommy, daddy, uncle, cousin, everybody outside. The whole bus load, and it's you alone come.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, we got outside. We were in the terminal at that time, and everyone, my dad, my brothers, they're all sitting now waiting patiently. But curious George decided to head outside to feel what exactly this cold you're talking
Curious
about.
la.
I know about AC. How you could tell me this place is cold and don't step outside? When I got outside, listen, that is not a normal cold.
Yeah.
It is nothing to take for granted, to be very honest.
And people underestimate it.
Oh man.
Especially when they come on vacation, which I have my own story.
If I tell you guys some stories about Kadi, I made it clear to her. I said, Kadi, dress properly, because I got my experiences with the cold. When I stepped foot outside that first time, it was like a freezer outside. I hated that feeling. It's not something you can adjust to and say, hey, I love the cold. And I don't understand how people could say they love the cold. The cold is nothing to be loved. That is a unbearable coldness when you get outside. So I was outside for 2 seconds, and I was back inside. My aunt pulled up with a truck full of jackets. She had what? About 20 jackets in her car.
You're exaggerating. It's not 20.
Listen, if you know Auntie Gully, may her soul rest in peace, you would definitely know that the back of that Pathfinder had a wardrobe. My aunt, the back of her Pathfinder had water. It was a bunch of groceries. She always had like 5 dresses and 10 shoes, but when she came, she was prepared for us all. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
We had big jackets, small jackets. So if one didn't fit, you had the option of switching into another.
Yeah, but I mean, you're just going in a car and then straight home. So I guess that was your cultural shock.
Yep.
To the United States of America.
That was my initial phase, or that was my initial introduction to the mighty America. Yeah. It wasn't something that I expected when it comes to the cold, but I'll tell you this much: when we got here, that first feeling, it's like for the first month or two, you're still on that vacation kind of feel, But as you transition and then you start working, you start exploring a little more, you get into that. Then is when reality hit, like, hey, I'm really living here.
Yeah.
I miss Guyana.
Yes. Yes.
So yeah, that was my transition, and just a brief transition for me, because if I'm to tell you guys stories, most definitely I'll be talking all night. I'll be very honest with you. But Kadija, what was your experience like when you first transitioned over here? Because you have an interesting kind of thing going on, especially given that you could have been here before me. but circumstances of course shifted that whole storyline.
Yes.
So now you are here under me. I want to say, not in a bad way. Don't.
I'm here because
You're here
of
because
you.
of me. Exactly.
Under
You're-
you.
I stand corrected.
Gal, don't go on a mod. Anyway. Yes, Lasaul. I thought you wanted to ask. You were just going on. Anyway, my story, of course, well, you know, but my viewers or listeners, they don't know that my father actually lives in America, and he's been here for many years.
Brooklyn,
actually,
to be exact.
Yeah, he's from Brooklyn.
Big up Brooklyn.
Poi. And we're not from Brooklyn.
We're
so.
not. We're not. We never. I hate Brooklyn.
Oh gosh, don't even say that now.
Man,
Bobby's in Brooklyn.
Listen,
the listeners are not going to like you.
if I may share a little story, man, my aunt took us to Bobby's. My aunt took us to Bobby's. If you don't know about Bobby's, you're not Guyanese when you just move over here.
Well, I didn't know about Bobby's.
Well, listen,
until
I
just
should have taken you to Bobby's. That's what I should have done. Because listen, my aunt took us to Bobby's, and to be honest with you,
y'all shop true.
we shop true. Oh my God. Listen, if my brother was here, he would tell you his whole experience. If my dad was here, he would tell you his experience. Man, we pick up jersey, fist, fleece. If you see clothes we pick up in our bill was just $300.
Oh Lord.
We had like 5 big bags. You see the size of them bags, bro. And
$300. Little did you know they wouldn't last a long time.
everything cheap and sweet. But guess what? One we are throwing.
Wow.
You can't use those things for one.
So is it safe to say that Bobby's was the Shein of the now?
Bobby's was the Shein of the now, if you want to put it that way. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. You know, I'm going to get a lot of backlash when it comes to that. But to be honest, Brooklyn, if you are in Brooklyn, or if you're from Brooklyn, boy, the parking situation out there, it's terrible. I hate it.
Yeah. So my dad lives in Brooklyn, and he's been there for my entire life. From I would have known my dad, he has been coming and going. Of course, I think in my earlier days he was living in Guyana, but for my memory and recollection, the majority of time he was in the United States. He had filed for my mom and I. They were married. We got our visas, went to the interview, bought our tickets, and were ready to go on the plane. Then to get a call from the embassy to say, come back. When my mother took us back, took her documents back in, and they said...
So wait, they called you guys while you were at the airport?
No, we didn't reach the airport as yet. Let's say our tickets were booked for next week, the Friday before. They called us back.
And she answered her phone? I would not have answered that call. Trust me, I would not have answered that call.
I mean, if we had caller's ID, because back then I don't even think she had
listen,
the phones weren't up to date that
she
time.
still had a Guyana number at that time.
Oh
boy. Man, when I heard we were going away, my number changed. Everything changed. I was about to change my Facebook. You know, I just wanted to give up on everything in Guyana and say, hey, I am starting fresh.
But that's something that I didn't do, because even as a child, when you hear you're going to the States, it's like drop books, drop everything. Nothing is of your concern anymore.
That is so
and
true.
that is something mom told me, not to do. Still go to school, still do your work, still do the best of your ability, because when you bring your credentials over here, I want you to still be the top student. I want you to still be enrolled in a good school, and your grades must reflect that.
Yeah, and I get that.
So yeah, the embassy revoked our visas. I still have it. It says canceled without prejudice. That's a stamp in a passport that you don't want, but I will forever remember. And this was because they were having marital issues.
Yeah.
I don't want to get too much into it, but years later, that in particular affected my mom from getting her visa. And that's because,
really?
yes. And my mom, she doesn't take no very easily or nor lightly. So she was like, you know, I'm applying. Why is my child getting? Because I got a visa.
Oh, you got through.
Yes, years after I got a visitor's visa. Why is my child getting and I am not getting? And she asked them boldly, like, why are you refusing me? I have everything you can see. I have businesses, I have a home, everything. And they told her straight up that your ex-husband said that you married him for residency in the United States. And that was the shock of our lives,
So
because
that man crossed you out of the US completely.
Because anybody knows the seriousness
That's ridiculous.
of that particular situation. You don't ever mention that to anyone.
Yeah.
You know. So you know, she had to plead her case, and eventually they gave it to her on that same day. And yeah,
she got it.
Yes. And this is why I tell people, don't be afraid of going and speaking to those people.
Yeah, you have to
confidence.
Treat them like they're actual people.
They are people. They're not your gods. So many people go into the embassy and they're they're afraid of speaking for themselves and explaining themselves. What's your name? And they just answer.
Yeah.
Expound, you know, express yourself. And that's what my mom did, and she got her visa. Yeah. And so we didn't, unfortunately, she died before we got to travel. But at least I can tell the story that she eventually got her visa. Yeah. And visa's a big thing in Guyana. So that was like a major accomplishment. But outside of that, sorry to dive into a little too deep.
Nah, that's okay.
Thanks to you, I'm now here because we got married. We eloped.
Yeah.
No, we didn't.
When you put it that way, you made it sound so bad. But anyway,
we didn't elope because of COVID. Our wedding was canceled, and we decided to get things going just in case COVID didn't blow over. In time.
Yeah.
I came in February to buy stuff for the wedding, and if you remember clearly, COVID started acting up in Guyana in February, and then the country shut down, and then United States of America shut down in March.
Yeah, it was actually March
17th.
Was it the 17th
or
the
the 18th?
On the 18th. It was the
19th. It was the day after our wedding, our signing papers.
No, it was the day of, because remember, we had reservations to go for dinner and everywhere was closed. That's why we couldn't go. So we signed the papers and everything, and we had to drive back home.
Oh, right.
Yeah, we drove back home immediately after, because everywhere was closed.
That's when I made a cockroach curry.
Yep.
Yes. I didn't know the curry powder had cockroach inside.
But I had no choice. I had to listen.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, we actually didn't know until after. I was like, "Daddy,
what's crunching like that?
What's this thing?"
I am so sorry about it. Man. And then I threw it away.
Yeah, we got rid of that. But so we couldn't go anywhere. That was
no celebration.
Depressing.
It was, especially after looking forward to our wedding, putting in so much money, is because a lot was already set for the wedding. We have already paid down payments. My dress, I would have paid for that already. Decor, everything was just streamlining so well, only to be halted by COVID. But it could have been a blessing in disguise, because we were refunded those monies, and
they didn't want to give us half of the monies though. Remember we had to.
There was a fight.
There's so much back and forth that we had to go through in order to get, with some of the services. It's not everyone. Everyone, it really wasn't having a problem with it, but most people really wanted to, how do I put it? Not refund the monies, but they wanted to change the date.
Yeah, keep it for a later date.
Yeah, so you
But
they
at
would
that
keep the monies
time-
and just change the date.
At a time, it was so unsure as to what the future held for us.
Yeah.
We didn't know if COVID would have gotten better or worse. So it was actually better to give people their monies back.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, we got married, and months later, I returned on a repatriation flight to Guyana to get my
that
exams.
flight was something else.
Oh yes,
It was. Listen, if you didn't know somebody that knew somebody that knew somebody, you could
couldn't
not
get-
have gotten on that flight.
No, and it's about who knows you,
Yeah.
not who
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, most
Yeah.
definitely. And then we were in a group too, isn't it?
Yeah, there was a
like
group chat. Oh.
Yes. I'm trying to remember who hooked us up with that group.
We can't call names.
Oh.
I remember clearly.
Okay. Yeah, but somebody gave us the name for that group, and we were added to the group, and you could have seen like how frustrated people were.
Yeah, because a lot of persons, to my surprise,
Yeah.
were stuck in the US and could not get back home.
That's funny because you remember that story where the one guy said his relatives that he was staying by are literally telling him he has to leave.
He has to go.
He has to get
they're
out
on
of
the
the
verge
house.
of putting him out
Exactly. So you could imagine, like, now you became a burden
to somebody.
And most of those
Yeah.
people were professionals. Like
Yeah.
there were some doctors in there. There were some nurses.
There
probably
was
a couple
even
of
this guy was a
teachers.
pilot.
There were pilots.
He was kind of
Oh
streamlining
my
everything
goodness.
for
Yeah,
people.
It was a hell of a task.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, you got on that flight and,
Yeah,
and
I
you
went
got
back home.
That was when you prepared for your examinations
Yes.
for your finishing med school.
Mhm.
Congratulations, Dr. Andrews, at that time, but you're Jacobs now, so it's Dr. Jacobs. Get it right. Yeah, but she
I
aced
didn't know
that
Jacob
exam.
studied to be a doctor.
Listen, don't start. Good.
My bad.
Anyway, yeah, you completed that phase of life. You know, I
Yeah.
must say congratulations again, because studying to be a doctor isn't an easy task. Anyone can attest to that and say, hey, you guys put in a lot of studies. You guys, have sleepless nights sometimes that you're up studying. So kudos to you. Good job on that. And if we were to fast forward a little bit,
I'm here.
you're here.
Yeah.
You're
I'm
here.
But our transition here, after staying because of a vacation, is called an adjustment of status.
Yes.
It's not the normal, I file for you while you're in Guyana and then you come up. It's an adjustment of status.
Yeah.
And this is something that a lot of people are not aware of that can be done.
Yeah, it's an option.
It's an option.
You can
There are
choose.
many options
Oh, man.
of getting to the United States of America.
That is so
Not
true.
just overstaying in the people country.
Yeah, don't come and overstay. If you overstay, it's gonna be harder for you.
Yes, because
gonna
actually,
be harder for you.
while we were filing the adjustment of status, one of the questions was, did you overstay?
Yes.
And luckily for me, I did not. We were
Mm-hmm.
not going to do it if that was the case either way. And from there, it was a seamless process. We paid our monies. We got a lawyer, which in my estimation, I don't think we should have.
That lawyer, man. Oh my goodness.
He was a piece of work.
Ooh, that man greet you at his door. Did you bring my money? Every single time.
Yeah.
Mind you, Kadija set an appointment with this guy on Christmas Day, guys.
Christmas Day.
Christmas Day. Kadija and I in the cold.
Yeah, because our car wasn't working.
Our car wasn't working.
Yes.
We took the bus, the train to a bus. Walk about 5 minutes.
Only for this man not to return a Merry Christmas to us.
Oh my goodness. This
Yeah.
man, Kadi said, Merry Christmas. And this guy just, did you walk with my money? Mind you, that particular day, that appointment was not necessary.
Yeah, it wasn't. It really
He
wasn't.
could have asked all that information
in an email.
bro, in an email. He could have called us to say, hey,
Yeah.
guys, this is what I need. Can you guys answer these questions?
Yeah, most definitely.
This guy made us commute all the way to Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Again, the
But-
worst part of New York.
Yeah, yeah. But all in all, he was one to get the job done, and that was one of somebody's comments when we read his reviews on Google.
Yeah.
He's aggressive, but he gets the
He
work
gets
done.
it
So
done.
do you want somebody that's gonna do the work and be aggressive, or do you prefer somebody who is nice and then they don't do what is required of them? We chose that way. Is it the best way? I don't think so. But nevertheless, the job is done,
Yeah.
and I'm a resident of the United States of America.
And funny enough, you say that. We actually, we are too smart individual, right? Not tooting our own horns here, but
yeah,
we're too smart individual. And I must say, if you're ever going to use this option of adjusting status after you have, what is it called? I think a B1, B2 visa,
Yeah,
which is a
B1, B2.
visitor's visa.
Mhm.
If you choose this option, this particular option, you don't necessarily need a lawyer.
That is so true.
Now, I'm not a
Unless
professional. I'm
your
not a professional. I'm not going to say
situation is complicated.
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you have a complicated situation,
Like
most
divorce.
definitely go right ahead.
Yeah,
I was gonna say doctor, but get a lawyer.
you have a doctor.
I do most definitely. Get a lawyer, have them help you step by step. They know the do's and the don'ts.
Yeah,
But if you have nothing
yeah. No
hindering
children.
that process,
No previous marriage.
no hurdles,
Yeah, just a plain old girl coming over.
all you
Married.
need is a pen.
Yeah, and you need some good brain to read.
Listen, that is it. And I'm not going against immigration lawyers at all.
Yeah,
That's their job. That's their hustle. That's what it is.
but they practically read for you.
That's all they.
Yeah, they read and
You know what? I'm
interpret
not gonna
for
say that's
you.
all they do, because they know the legal side of things.
Yeah.
They know that if you're in the interview and these people corner you with a certain type of question, they can say, my client's not answering that
Yeah,
question.
that's not
It's
necessary.
not necessary.
Yes.
And they have to ask you something else.
Yes.
Besides that, what's your name? When you're born?
You could read it and write it.
When you come here?
Yes.
These type of things.
What's your alien number?
Boy, you better get a pen.
Yeah. But what forced us to take a lawyer was fear instilled by outsiders.
Yeah.
And this is something that you must be aware of if you're going down this path. People from left, right, and center are going to tell you, oh, you need to get a lawyer. Oh, you need to get a lawyer. You do not have to. But if you choose to, it's okay.
Mhm.
And for us, we didn't have to. But in retrospect, that's when we realized that exactly what we did, because we had printed out our forms and filled them out ourselves.
Mhm.
And then people kept telling us, oh, get a lawyer, get a lawyer. Like, all right, maybe we're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
Just to compare the two folders, because the lawyers did give us a copy.
A copy of what we got. Yeah.
It's
yeah.
the same
It was
thing. We filled it
exactly
the
what we
same
had.
way. It was everything, and to our disappointment, we lost $1,500. But hey,
Yes.
they got the job
Well,
done.
we didn't
and
lose it
thank
because
you.
we got what we
needed.
paid for.
Yeah.
So we're thankful for that.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, that was our story with regards to adjusting Kadija's status. And I'll tell you this much, if we were to fast forward that and just let you guys know the outcome of it, Kadija's still here. She has her conditional green card,
Yeah.
which is valid, I think, for
2
years. And this is one of the steps that a lot of people don't know about.
Yeah.
Once you do that adjustment to status, you don't just get a 10-year green card.
No, you get a
You
conditional.
get a conditional green card.
And as
then-
long as the marriage is still holding and standing, then
you
you
have to go and apply
apply.
again
for
for your
your-
10-year green card. Mind you, because of how the U.S. wants to take monies out of our pockets, you apply for that 10-year green card. You get that 10-year green card approved 3 months before you hit that 3-year mark to become
your
a citizen.
citizenship.
Because once you're married to a citizen, you don't have to be here for 5 years. You just have to be here for 3 years, and then you transition now, or you can apply for your citizenship.
And you actually apply at 2 years, 9 months.
Well, 2 year, 9 months. There you go. So
because it's a 3-month process.
Exactly.
And they say they advise that you apply at 2 years, 9 months.
Yep. So man, when you look at it, technically you'll have a 10-year green card for 3 months.
Yeah.
You know, which why not just give me a 2.5-year conditional, and then if I'm still there,
give me my citizenship.
And not apply for it. Anyway.
If it doesn't make
is.
dollars,
it don't make sense, right? Yeah. But Kadi got her conditional, and everything was sorted out. She got her first job. She started working. Then she got pregnant with our baby boy, Lakai Jacobs. He's here now with us, and we actually have an interesting story for you guys that we will tell you in another episode when we transition from New York
to Texas,
to the big state of Texas.
Yeah,
that was an interesting move, So that was our process with her adjustment of status. Nonetheless, she would have visited on numerous occasions. She came to the U.S. About 5 or 6 times, sometime per year, just to see man. You want to travel and see man is what they're traveling and doing. But it's okay, because if I tell you guys, I got an interesting story for you guys. When Kadi first came here, her first visit to moi.
Don't embarrass me.
Listen, you embarrass yourself. You embarrass yourself. I tell you that much. Kadija woke up that morning, and Kadi said, "Babe, what you want for breakfast?" Now, if you guys know me, I love ripe plantain. I know there's a saying Guyana, ripe plantain is kill your body and all.
Not true. The boy is alive and well.
Listen, I shoot in sharp. But Kadi said, "Babe, what you want?" Got some ripe plantain downstairs, fried it with egg, and I good. Mind you buy feeling like a big thing, I gone downstairs.
And you were what, like 20, 24?
20, between somewhere around there, man. I can't remember. But I gone outside, sit down waiting. Of course, it was what? It was August?
It's summer.
Yeah, it was August. So it was warm outside.
Yeah.
We got outside. Kadija walking, coming. She's coming with this confused look on her face, and I'm like, what happened? I hope the gas ain't cut off or nothing. Kadija said, "Babe, why this? Why this plantain so soft? What do you mean, why the plantain so soft? Babe, look at this plantain." Guys, Kadi sliced up banana. Well sliced neatly. Kadi was gonna fry bananas for me.
Listen,
I had to double think.
Banana.
I had to double think my situation here. I had to say, is this the woman I really want? Should I marry this girl? She don't know the difference between plantain and banana. Man, I gotta double think this. I gotta double think this. But my first breakfast from Kadi, fried banana.
Listen, I accustomed to sweet fig, okay? Them little stumpy sweet thing looking like that's banana. Nothing else outside of that was banana. So when I came and I saw this long, yellow, nice looking thing, it could only be plantains, But nevertheless.
So hold on. Out of curiosity, Kadi, did you peel that banana with a knife?
Oh my God, I didn't think about this. I actually did.
Wow. Like cut the top,
yes,
cut the bottom.
I did.
And
even when I was peeling, I was like, wow, even the foreign plantain peeling But yeah, that's just a little story. But Lasaul, outside of all of that, how is life adapting to America? I mean, you spoke about a cold, but other factors. What are some other factors that had gave you a little shift in your access?
You know, the transition here to the US isn't all bad, neither is it all good. You know, you have to make your transition what you want it to be. You know, with that said, I'm saying when you move to the US, you determine who you will be and when you will become that person.
Yeah.
If you don't have that drive or
game
you don't
plan.
have that hunger
Yeah.
for success, you're gonna
Fall by the
fall
wayside.
by the wayside.
Yeah.
And funny enough, a lot of people
It's easy to fall by
get
the
into
wayside.
that trap.
Yeah.
a
Yes.
lot. It's very easy to happen.
Yes.
You know, and because I would have experienced it all, I sort of ensured that you did not get into or fall into that trap.
Yeah.
You know, I ensured that everything was intact upon your arrival.
Yeah.
I had my own apartment.
Yeah.
First
and foremost, yeah.
I tried to, you know, have everything inside. Now, when you first got here, I think when I first got that apartment, I
It
only
was
had
just
a
a blow
blow bed.
bed.
Yeah, I only had a blow bed when you first came.
Ah,
But hey,
good
we toughed it out, and then
times.
now
It
we
wasn't
didn't even.
I wouldn't even say tough because I didn't think it was tough. It was
Yeah.
like it was more of an
But
experience.
You know what? When you came, I actually had a TV.
yeah, you did.
But we
On
were
the
sitting on the
ground.
floor
Yeah.
watching TV, and
Mhm.
many a time people back hot in.
No, back was
And I
up,
was like,
though.
oh my God, I need to spend money on a chair. But you know, as men, you really don't care about those stuff.
Yeah,
You know, I was comfortable. As long as I had a plate, a cup, a spoon, a fork, knife,
yeah,
I was good.
yeah.
You know, I was very comfortable with that. But fast forward, the apartment was filled.
Fully
got
furnished and
everything
overflowing.
Overflowing. We didn't have space. We started
Space.
giving stuff away
Yeah.
most of the time.
Thank God we
Um,
were moving to Texas because
yeah.
I was beginning to lose my mind.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, we were maneuvering around furniture in that
Yeah.
apartment. You know, but not deviating from what I was saying. You have to stick to your game plan.
Yes.
And that game plan is if you are going to come here for education, hit the road running.
yeah,
You come,
from the beginning.
you head to a school, you figure out which school you want to go, what you want to major in, and if Caddy and I can share some insights, you may want to have certain things. You want to have your transcripts.
Yeah.
You want to have your CXC certificate.
Yes.
You want to have your high school diploma.
Bring your
You
documents.
just bring everything. Birth
Yes.
certificate, copy of your passport. You have those things. You're walking into that room to your international advisor at that college, and you're saying to them, I know what I want. This is what I'm aiming for. And I have everything that you're going to ask me
And
for.
another thing is that going back to high school, for those of you who probably migrated around 17, 18, 19,
Yeah.
you shouldn't be afraid to go back to high school.
That is an interesting
That is
fact.
actually something that could catapult you
Yes.
further.
And that was a mistake I made.
Yes, it's a mindset that people have that, oh, they're going back in life.
Mm-hmm.
You're actually being catapulted because paying them school fees and college fees out of your own pocket is another thing you don't want to deal with.
Yes.
So if you can go back, do your 1 year of high school, you're gonna be a top dog anyway, because
man,
the
because-
quality of education that we get in Guyana is phenomenal.
Exactly. And I had this conversation with someone just recently. You know, just recently I had this conversation with somebody. When you come here at 18, you already graduated high school.
Yeah.
You just want to go back and have your UG certificate now, well, your degree,
Yeah.
right? You just want to get
associated.
your degree.
Yeah.
But when you make that decision, I think it's one that can make you or break you. Because the only thing you would accomplish by making a decision of not going back to high school for that 7 months or that 1 year is graduating college early and inheriting huge debt,
Yeah.
school debts.
That
is the only two things you will accomplish. Yeah, you may or may not get your degree. Of course, again, you make that determination, right? You decide whether you complete it or not. But going back to high school for that 7 months and getting a high school diploma over here, within your tenure at that high school, you can actually gain so much scholarships.
Yeah.
Because them Farm 1 work they gonna teach you in Farm 5, you better come and ace them thing.
Definitely.
And once you ace that, the amount of scholarships you're gonna get, you can go to a college for free.
Yeah.
So don't come here without a goal.
Yeah.
If you come without a goal, you are going to fall for the trap. And that trap is meeting a lot of Guyanese, going out and party, going to them fancy place, working at the airport ain't a bad thing.
No.
No. Don't play it off. Working at the airport ain't no bad thing. But it's the job you will get at the airport.
That's what I meant.
Don't come and get comfortable doing no regular job.
Yeah, I mean, use it as a stepping stone because you have to start somewhere.
You have to
and as my
start
grandfather would say, is take what you can get until you can get what you want. So you start somewhere, but you keep moving. A lot of people get stuck in the rut and they stay there for years. Outside of that, Lasaul, what was one of the most difficult moments for you in the United States of America?
I think one of the most difficult moments was me not, and I'll go back to what I was saying earlier, me not going back to high school, not going back to high school and deciding that I don't want to go around no little children. As a big boy.
Yeah.
I know what proper things.
And you want money.
And I want money. I want to buy fancy stuff. So I decided that I would go and work.
Yeah.
Get money, go to school, and that's it. Little did I know. America, man, I'll tell you this. I moved back to Guyana twice after I moved here. My first time, I got my first job as a baggage handler. All-state. Hey, all my all-state crew. Hey, big up yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that wasn't the job for me.
Yeah.
I hated baggage handling.
Yeah, because you know what you're worth.
I hated that job. But you know what? My first 2 paycheck, I took and I went back to Guyana. My mom was like, "Sorry, you gotta go back. Don't let it feel like they're wasting money." And when I say they, I'm referring to my family.
Yeah.
Don't let them feel like they would have spent so much money for you to get here for a better life.
Yeah.
You just want to move back. I just personally think I can maneuver Guyana more than I can maneuver the US.
Yeah.
Now, over time, I conquered that. I know now how to maneuver myself, but I still think that I can maneuver Guyana more than I can maneuver the US.
It's home. It's a home feeling.
Exactly. So 2 years, I think it was 2 years after I moved, I ended up moving back to Guyana, and that's where I got my pilot's license. I got my training done, and I came back over here to complete so that I can now have an FAA license. You know, and I did that conversion. I got my FAA license, and now I'm with United Airlines.
Yeah.
Not as a pilot, but I'm with United Airlines working, and I feel like, because of that transition from flying into the corporate aspect of things with the airline, I love the corporate side.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I love the corporate side of things. So my transition really wasn't, or I should say my difficult experience really wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
Like everyone else, because a lot of people have a lot of horror stories that they can tell you.
Yeah.
I do have a couple that I can say too, but I choose not to mention because it really isn't that bad.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, that was my experience. What about you? Have you had any bad experience when you came here?
When it comes to difficulty, it's not within the workforce for me because my work experience here is still somewhat very hazy, given that as soon as I started working, I got pregnant, and because of my severe illness during pregnancy, I had to stay home. However, difficulty was personal there was a huge feeling of loneliness when I transitioned here. And for some odd reason, it was pitching me into the depths of depression. And I couldn't grapple myself and take myself out of it very easily. It took a lot of work and effort to pull me out of this. And this is something that you couldn't understand. And that's because I left my friends, I left my family, I left everything, even my clothes.
Oh man.
And I came here with no one and nothing. Yes, I have my father's family here, but I am not close to them.
Yeah.
I hardly know them. I don't have any good established relationship with them. So I was pretty much alone for a long time. And then you would go to work for long hours, come back home, and then you want your alone time or you want some time to unwind. And I couldn't understand that because I am just happy to see somebody. I mean, you need to understand, in Guyana, majority of us live with people in our households. I had my grandmother, grandfather, uncle, cousins, aunt. We all lived. And the house was just always active. Somebody's always there. There's always somebody to talk to.
Yeah.
To coming and just being enclosed by 4 big walls in the cold. It was just depressing for me. So that was the most difficult time for me. And to top it off, my friends group from med school canceled me.
Oh, well, yeah, that was an experience that I had to live through. Yeah, I felt like I got canceled too. I think I got canceled too.
Well, who knows? But that was just like the cherry on top of the cake at that time. So it was just depression on depression. But nevertheless, I fought through that. You had to try to understand what I was going through because it wasn't something you were faced with. You came with family and you came with people surrounding you.
Yeah,
I didn't have that. So that was my difficult moment. And it took me a few months to get over it. And eventually I did. I started coming out a little more. And I met some of your friends' wives and fostered some relationship
with them. Yeah, well, I'm happy that you actually got out of that phase because depression isn't an easy thing to deal with.
It really isn't. And it's a word that's tossed around a lot, but it's real.
Yeah. We are beginning to reach our final approach on this flight. And or I should say during this episode, whichever is suitable for this. And we want to leave you guys with some facts that we established during our conversation here tonight. So Kadi, you want to go first?
Yeah, so we're gonna leave you with some tips on how to prepare to migrate and how to make migration a little seamless. So number 1, I have here with me, have a thorough plan about your living situation. You need to know if you're coming to live with family, if you're going to rent, or if you're going to stick it out with a friend. Have that conversation long in advance and prepare for it financially.
Yes.
Don't come here expecting your family to give it all to you because after a while, you become a burden on them. And that's when things go downhill. You hear stories of people being put out and you don't want to have to deal with that. Yeah. So save your monies while in Guyana and know what your living situation is going to be like. You can give me number 2.
Most definitely. Number 2 would be walk with all your documents.
Yeah.
Have all your documents. Walk with your... Well, you can't come without your passport. So you'll have your passport.
Yeah.
But have a copy of your birth certificate.
Yes.
Have your transcripts.
Yeah.
Have your certificates. Have your high school diploma.
Your license. Your
driver's license. A lot of people don't know. When you come over here, you can actually drive in the U.S.
with your
Guyana license
for a period.
of time. So the restrictions are, if you come with your, and I may be wrong, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but if you are moving over here, you can use your Guyanese license for a period of 1 month.
Yeah.
Right? But then you have to now go and get the US license. If you are on vacation, and this is facts for some of you that are traveling, if you're on vacation, you can actually drive in the United States.
For the duration.
Not New York. You can drive in the United States.
Yeah.
Which is any state.
There are some states with a few
restrictions.
Rules. Yeah.
Okay, maybe not. But you can drive New York for sure. You can drive in New York with your Guyana's license, as long as you keep a copy of your itinerary with you.
Yeah, so you show that you're here for the duration. Yes,
exactly.
And you can drive for that duration.
Your driving privileges are there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, Kaddy. You go with number 3.
I'll say save your money. I mentioned this before, but this is to contribute to wherever you're going to be living, whether it's friend or family. Because as cliche as it sounds, come see me and come live with me is two different things. And I know people use this a lot, but it's so real. So you could come in with another one.
Sure. Number 4, I'm going to say have your credentials evaluated.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yes. You can actually get an evaluation of your CXC certificate and have it have the transcription be equivalent to that of a GED.
Yes.
And that is recognized by a lot of colleges here.
Yeah. And even if you need an entry-level job.
Definitely. So once you come in, once you get here, it's like $100, $70. If you're going to ask somebody for something, don't let it be a shirt or a pants or a Jordan. I'm going to ask you now to go with number 5.
I have a few more, so just bear with me. So I'm going to say read and stop listening to people. When you come here, a lot of people have many things to say, and some of them could lead you down a path of destruction. I implore you to read, just like you'd read for your degree. Read, understand, read simple things as to how to get your license done in the US, how to get a bank account open, how to, just maneuver yourself, open the internet and read, Lasaul.
Oh man.
Yeah.
That was a good one. Yeah. That was a good one.
You have another for me?
I don't think I could beat that one, but let me see if I can pull something out of the hat. I'll give you a simple one. Mm-hmm. When you get here, don't stare at nobody on the train. On the bus, on the train, wherever you are in the streets, especially
in New York.
If you move to New York, don't stare. And one of my cousins told me that. That's one of the advice she gave me when I first got here, because I was on the train and I was staring at people.
I mean, there is a lot to stare at.
Exactly.
Come on. It's crazy on the train.
There's a lot of live performance. There's a lot of bums.
Crackheads.
There's a lot of crackheads. There's some good-looking people.
Some sexy guys. A lot
some
to look
beautiful
at.
Girls. There's everything to look at in New York. But don't stare at people.
Yeah, don't stare.
Don't stare at people, because out of nowhere, all you hear,
you're looking at.
Exactly.
And listen, that's when you want your eyeballs to roll all the way back and see your brain.
Definitely. You just want to shut your eye and disappear.
Yep. Into the ground.
That's it. Kaddy, just give us one more. Let's see what you got.
Not every Guyanese or Caribbean person you encounter is somebody for you or is your friend. And I say this with experience.
Sounds like you're talking with somebody.
When you come, there is this search for familiarity. You're in a strange place. You're in a big space. And the minute you find somebody that looks or sounds like you kind of gravitate to them naturally.
Okay.
People are people, and they all don't have your best interests at heart. Some of them don't have good intentions. And not because they're from Guyana or the Caribbean at large, means that you can identify with them, or you should identify with them.
Bars.
People are people.
Bars.
They're evil out there.
Listen,
Yeah.
that was a good one. That was a good one. But hey guys, that was all that we can, advise you guys during your transition phase, or whether you decide to move to the US. That's some of our advice to you guys. You can take it. Again, we are not professionals.
Yeah.
We may or may not be right.
Yeah, this is just our opinion.
This is just our personal opinion.
Yes.
You guys can listen to it, take it, choose whether you want to, utilize it or not. And if you think we are wrong in some of our advice, you can tell us.
Yeah,
you can say,
email
hey
us.
guys, you're not right with this. I
Yeah.
disagree with this. But email us. We are going to share with you guys our emails coming down to the end. But I want to say, as your captain, we are now approaching the final destination, which was migration. And I, enjoyed you guys throughout this flight. So as we come to the end, we want to thank you guys for flying with us. Throughout this
Yes.
episode, we would have landed now at our final destination, which is migration.
Mm-hmm.
We touched on topics, the highs, the lows, the stormy, the sunnies, everything we could have. And I'm happy that you guys had a turbulent free flight with us.
Mm-hmm.
And we are looking forward to flying with you guys again soon.
Yes, Lasaul, thank you for taking us on that thrilling ride. This flight has been a quick glimpse into our journey altogether, and I'm so happy to do this with you. Right now, I just want us to prepare for our cheers moment.
Ooh.
For those of you who don't know what our cheers moment is, it's something that we would grasp from our episode that would have stood out to us, and today we choose to do it with none other than some 12-year-old El Dorado rum. This was made in Guyana. So we're gonna cheers. Thank you for flying again with AviDoct podcast. My cheers moment is going to be come see me and come live with me. It's two different things.
Listen, that actually is a gem. Everyone says that.
Yeah.
Everybody would tell you that whenever you come.
Yeah, if you're not Guyanese, or if you are Guyanese, then you know this saying. Yep. So cheers to that.
Cheers to that. If I may give mine, my cheers moment is don't married no girl that fried banana for you on the first morning. Don't do it.
Says the person that married somebody that fried plantains.
Guys, guys, live through my experience. That's my cheers moment. Cheers to that.
Cheers to that, Lasaul. Ladies and gentlemen, collect your memories from the overhead compartment. Some may have shifted during the flight, but until next time, keep soaring high. We have some information for you before we finish our episode, and that is, Lasaul, give them the email.
All right. You guys can email us on our email address at avidoctpodcast@gmail.com. You can find me on Instagram as your host. My Instagram tag would be las_Jacobs. Send me a message. You can connect with me as much as you want. I am my account is always open for you guys.
Yeah, and my Instagram is Dr. Emma Jane. That's Dr.EMAJANE. And our AviDoct podcast email is avidoctpodcast@gmail.com. And you could write into us with whatever suggestions you have, or even if you have a topic that you'd want us to touch on. And for other passenger inquiries. So until next time, I want to say safe travels and thank you for joining us.